Hello, and welcome to Locutors of Trek, the podcast where we talk about the people, places, and things of Star Trek. So, replicate yourself a Romulan ale or your synth selection of choice, and join us far beyond the stars.
Locutors of Trek.
Program initiated. Enter when ready.
Well, hello there. It's a new year, a new star date. Hello to you all. This is Dave.
And I'm Devin.
We are Locutors of Trek.
And
it's
Plain Simple Tailors.
That's
and you can
right.
catch
What
us,
a tragedy
follow
I
us.
overran you there.
That's okay. We are talking about tragedy. But you can catch us on Facebook, and you can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Patreon. You know, if you want to donate to our humble podcast, we'll send you a sticker. Yeah.
Stick to your ribs.
Let us talk tragedy.
Indeed. So our theme for the day is the tragic. We could move right from the book that we first see Cristobal Rios reading, which is Miguel de Unamuno's Tragic Sense of Life, a wonderful early 20th century work by the Spaniard who understands intelligence, consciousness in a certain way to be a dis-ease with the situation in the world. This is how it actually comes about. And so he understands life as ultimately shot through with a certain kind of tragic sensibility in that we are burdened with self-consciousness of our own mortality, meaning, purposes, short span upon this stage, right? Because tragedy really does refer to a stage, right? It comes to us from the ancient Greek tragoedia, which literally means goat song. These, in some respect, come from the mournful songs that the shepherds would sing over the hillsides.
It's also very illogical.
Sometimes to stay in contact, sometimes to relay information. The whistling of the shepherds in France is maybe not dissimilar, but these often had words and would take on, mythic themes, stuff that everybody knew and could talk back and forth in. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra, right? And so they come into the religious festival of the Dionysia in ancient Athens as these melancholy tales, centering specifically on the sad moments in epic and myth where characters die, fail, or defeated and destroyed.
If I can get shot, if I can lose my leg, anything can happen to me, Vic. I could die tomorrow.
And some wisdom comes from cruel blows, as Creon says in Antigone as he's led off stage at the end.
Well, I mean, we are going to see a lot of stage tragedies in a lot of these episodes we're going to discuss,
Absolutely.
And since we're going to be talking about catastrophes and the downfalls of characters that we love and unhappy endings, we thought we would list for you all our top 5 times Star Trek made us cry.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Do you want to start? Why don't you start?
Okay, I can start. So I went with 5 instances in which I cried from sadness.
Sure.
Watching Star Trek.
Sure.
But before I do that, I thought I would special mention one scene that kind of makes me well up a bit for a more positive reason, and that's just in the movie First Contact when the Enterprise just swoops in to take the hit.
Oh yeah.
For the Defiant, and I'm always just all the gang's back together now. Here we go, and it's just it's excitement and
that's a pretty sort of glorious moment, that's for sure.
But as far as my number 5, I went with Jean-Luc crying muddy in a grape field to his brother Robert. Gets me every time.
Yeah.
The acting from both of them is just superb.
Yeah.
And of
And he
course,
just has to admit it. What he wasn't enough.
I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't good enough.
Nothing could
Yeah.
have been enough, but he wasn't for sure. And that's what's just breaking him down inside. They just took everything, you know.
we're talking about things that are somewhat downfalls or at least big changes for main characters, in a tragic sense. And like you say, that's the way he defined himself, was being that unshakable person and being the one who's always strong enough and has enough willpower. And there's only 4 lights. That comes later. But
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll probably talk about that episode here in a bit.
It's
But,
yeah, what a great moment. Yeah.
and it's just the catharsis from just 2 episodes ago, the best of both worlds and all that craziness. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you get to let it all out with Picard in that episode, and I think that's why it gets you every time, or gets me every time.
I couldn't agree more. It's the other side of it that really gets me is that it becomes a moment of vulnerability and healing with Robert that is equally desperately needed.
My brother is a human being after all.
Yeah, I didn't mention that.
And I think there's a structural perfection in that scene that is also just deeply moving as well, right? That they that way that Star Trek likes to mirror big plots with small plots and microcosm with microcosmic action. They just do it really, really, really beautifully there.
He's sort of doing tears of grief, I guess you would say,
Absolutely.
but also joy with this coming together with his brother and that sort of thing. So it's just a lot of emotion.
A lot of pain in the joy. In a sense, it's a kind of it's like when things get so crazy that it just opens up. Absolutely. Following on that line, actually, the first one on my list was another moment where everything's broken, everything's also okay, and that's when Deanna and Picard meet on Nepenthe. In the 6th episode of the first season of Picard, or 5th episode, I forget which, and she just knows everything. She knows that it's all going wrong with him all of a sudden, and she knows it very fully.
And she doesn't
in that
even
embrace
speak.
that they have. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
and she asked him what's wrong.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
And he says, "I'm fine," and then she's like, "Yeah." She just knows it.
Yeah, like lie to everybody else, but like don't even bother with me.
Yeah. It's making me well up right now, for God's sake.
Oh, that is a great one. And you know what? Even just I think is just the next scene or a couple scenes later in that episode that also got me. That's not on my list. Is when she's just like, "I'm not as strong as I used to be, Jean-Luc." And
talking about their son. That is, yeah. Whew, yeah, that's a rough scene. It's pretty amazing,
really
and it's one of those things that I think, in terms of, maybe not just in terms of a tragedy episode, but there's a whole germ of a thing in this, which is, at least in my experience, which was Trek before and after being a parent.
I'm starting to feel that myself.
I'm sure that you're what, 13, 14 months into this, it's got to be hitting you in the feels quite frequently that way, because the way they do parental and child relationships is in some episodes it's bizarrely stilted. In some episodes it's just so deep that it just breaks your heart, even when it's like beautiful and funny and awesome, right? Like you can't help but get a little bit wet around the gills that way,
My number 3 might have something to do with that.
All right, let's go to number 2 first then.
Number 4, but our second
4, whichever you like,
We do our ascending orders here.
Ordinally, it's the second one.
That's fine. Okay, my next one is an episode we've talked about several times on this show. And that's Duet, and that's when Eamon Maritza is having his big speech and sort of breaking down himself, and he's just like, talking about how he has to be punished just so somebody is, essentially, so the healing can begin. And it's just such a powerful scene, and the parts Nana Visitor plays in that scene as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that one gets me every time too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's quite it's kind of a brutal scene in some ways.
It's just
But
it's a
again,
very
really
unique
beautiful.
situation.
Yeah.
It's not something you see in a TV show episode very often. That particular character in that particular situation he's putting himself in, it's just very strange kind of concoction. And
Absolutely.
it's
The sort
heavy.
of afterlife of occupation is one of those things that's interestingly preoccupied the 20th century and clearly the first 2 decades of the 21st. And they managed to evoke that in that episode from just about the year 2000, I'm guessing 2001 or so, in I think really kind of prescient terms. They're able to stake positions there that are going to become problematic and interesting on a very wide scale in a popular sense right around that time as well, which is interesting.
Duet?
Yeah.
That would have been like 1993.
Was that 93?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or maybe 92. Yeah, first season of DS9.
Oh, it's first season. Oh, that's right. I was thinking it was later. Yeah, that's earlier still. That's right. Yeah. All right, so my number 4 here. I made a quick switch up because Picard in the Vines with Roberts is also on my list, so I'm going to make a quick substitution on the field here.
That was your original number 4, Picard and Robert?
No, that was my original number 2 way up the list, so I'm going to move that off and put
okay.
another number 4 in here, which is the death of Kalar.
Kalar! Kalar!
Oh.
Particularly the moment in which Worf realizes that Alexander's run to the other end of the room. And he goes back and finds him and he says, "You have not seen death. Then look." He hasn't had a Klingon parent before, and that is the moment when he gets one.
Yeah.
What a way to get a Klingon parent.
He seems so young for that moment. In human terms.
Yeah. But it's just drenched in blood and combat, and it's just so Klingon.
Yeah.
But in that sense, a tragedy as well, right? Because the moment then they really would have been coming together and had just really decided to, I think, in that episode as well.
Yeah, it looked like a family was coming together, and then
Duras. That's all I can say.
Romulan collaborators.
Indeed. All right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
We here at Vandalay Industries find no problems with Romulan collaborators.
No. Would you like to be my Romulan latex salesman?
See, now there is someone we need to see in a new series of Picard. Down on their luck,
Alexander
Romulan
playing
latex
a Romulan
salesman.
latex salesman.
See?
Yeah. He plays Star Trek roles. Do it.
Exactly. It'd be great.
Apparently he's coming back for Prodigy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wonder if he's playing the guy from Think Tank.
Oh, he was so creepy. Man, that would be amazing if he was, actually. That'd be great.
So is that me then?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 3. Oh, see, this is one that I've watched since becoming a parent. And that is the death of Lol.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that one. That should be on my list. Oh, man, no kidding.
Woof,
that's
way different after becoming a parent. I always thought it was sad, but more than that. Even like when the Admiral comes out, who has been, an antagonist to Data and all this whole time, wants to take her away.
Yeah.
And he asks to help. He's like, "Data, can I help you?" And then it just disappears. They disappear in the cutscenes. And the Admiral comes out and he's just quivering. And he's just like, Data's hands were moving so fast, I couldn't even see them, but it didn't work. And that's tough.
I had to let her go.
And when in the moment, and that moment with the Admiral, and also the very next scene when Lol is dying, and he's just like, she's like, "I love you, Father." And he's like, "I wish I could feel it too." And she's just like, "I will feel it for both of us." And it's just,
oh man, no kidding.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna start crying on the podcast.
I'm sorry. I was cutting an onion over here. I don't know what I'm doing. I shouldn't be doing that while we're podcasting. Oh, jeepers. All right, here we go. Time to punch
Jeez,
you
we're
right in
gonna
the
be a
feels
mess
again.
by the end of this episode, aren't we?
I
Jeez.
know. We're not going to do the rest of the episode. We're like, I can't do it. Oh, I need a break.
Let's try it again tomorrow after the top 5.
So this one isn't so much on the theme of parenting, but we will come back on my list there. This is just a brilliant moment of personal collapse in the face of systemic and individual tragedy, which is Benny's breakdown in Far Beyond the Stars.
Don't you understand? It is real. I created it, and it's real.
Man, they're real. They're real.
They're real.
You know, he says about
I am a human being.
Yeah, I am a human being, man. Whew.
It's just
Again,
like, what else do I
brilliant
need
way
to
to
tell
place
you?
the
Like,
cry of
why
the
do I
human
even need
spirit.
to say this? Like, is in his voice. It's like, it's just such a travesty and an injustice that I even have to say this sentence. It's all there.
Yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
best acting performances I've ever seen. I love that scene. I mean,
Oh, I don't think you can. You can't watch it and remain unmoved. I don't think. And the tangled up quality of that whole episode for me, you know, the way it kind of like just goes in and in and in on itself, makes that scene so much like harder, but elevates it too, right? Because you can feel the people just kind of peeling away from him in the room,
mhm.
even though for a lot of that
Oh, yeah.
scene you can only see a couple of dim figures in the background, all right? But you can just feel them peeling away from him in their discomfort, and they just can't even manage
Yeah.
solidarity until he literally falls
uncomfortable.
right down on the floor.
Try to stay calm, Benny. No, I'm tired of being calm. Calm never got me a damn thing.
It's super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and you know, and editors is like, you know, calm down or I'm going to call the police. But anyway, we might be talking about that episode again in just a second. So
It's possible.
so my number 2 is one of the classic O'Brien Must Suffer episodes. And in a way, I think the most powerful one, because it is the most personally tragic and it's the biggest downfall of that character, and that is Hard Time. And at the end of Hard Time, when he's about to kill himself because he was almost hit Molly, and he knows he's different.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he comes back, he says, "I'm not the same person I used to be." You know, they're all not really paying attention to it, and he keeps hinting. He's just like, "You need to stay away from me. Leave me alone." No one listens, and he's just like, "I can't expect them to stay away from me. They're my friends and my family and stuff." He's just like, "So I need to take the initiative and protect them from me." And it's just when Julian comes in and stops him, the whole scene is just a tear-filled one. But
yeah, it's torturous, like watching him get to that point as well. You know, in terms of that like, literal post-traumatic stress.
And it's what Julian says to him. He's just like, "Don't let them take a good man from you." Like he's like, "You're a good man." He's just like, "They can't take that from you. Don't let them rob you from that." He's like, that would be letting them win, but also a greater injustice being done.
Yeah.
And just such a powerful scene because Chief is such a strong character and capable character. It's hard to imagine him getting that far.
And he's just, you're right, because he's just taken way out past his limits. He's just out into deep water, and he's sinking when Julian comes in at that moment, you know?
Yeah. And he's a kid who doesn't usually let himself get there.
People get to in life. And to be able to see it, I think, especially depicted in a character who we otherwise experience as pretty much universally competent and heroic and pretty strong and awesome, badass dude, to see him broken down that way and reach out for or be reached out to and finally be able to accept some kind of help that might be able to meet him where he is, which is the real problem for him. Yeah. Oh man.
It was sort of Chief's best of both worlds moment where it completely broke him down.
Yeah,
and,
very much.
He says to Julian, "If each hour had been you, I would have killed you, Julian." He's like, "You didn't mean to." He's like, "No, I did. I wanted him to die." And he's just like, "That's not who I am." He's like, "They changed me." He thinks they did change me. And Julian's telling them, he's like, "No, they damaged you. They have not changed you. We just need to figure that all out.
Yeah, and where the truth lies between those two accounts of O'Brien is sort of the project of the rest of his life. In that sense, he's going to be trying to integrate that trauma for all the remaining decades he's alive. Yeah, and honestly, it leads in brilliantly to my number 2 here, which is decades of repressed trauma. Luoxana's breakdown in the Arboretum with Deanna. Because of her sister who drowned in the pool. Kestra. Yeah. That is one of those episodes I remember watching when my son was about 3 months old. We were sitting there watching that episode, and my wife and I were just both a mess by the end of it.
I haven't watched that one since becoming a parent yet, but I'm going to now that you mention it.
Good luck.
I shouldn't do that to myself, but I'm gonna.
But yeah, she Majel Barrett there really does a tremendous job of embodying the grief of parental bereavement in particular.
Yeah, she just doesn't understand it at all. She just keeps saying why, she's like, this makes no sense.
And there's no real way to range it, right? It just has to become, I don't know. It's like you ever see one of those trees that has like a stop sign stuck into it and it's grown around the stop sign? It's like that, like there's no fixing it. It's just you've got to keep growing somehow. But part of that growing, in her case, had meant in her trajectory repression. And I can imagine that being a huge problem for Beta Zeds who are telepathically open to each other at all times. So the ways in which they would repress in order for other Beta Zeds not to notice it, I can only imagine the infolds and implex that has to employ.
It's a deep dark vault.
Yeah, absolutely. And she falls way into it.
That's a good one. I didn't think of that one, but I'm going to watch that one here
it's
soon.
A great episode.
I mean, there is one episode of Star Trek it didn't go on my list, but I couldn't finish it since becoming a parent. I just watched it the other day, and I was like, I know how this ends, so I think I'm just going to stop here. There's about
Which
10
one
minutes
is that?
left. The one where a trip into Paul's baby dies.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It wasn't. It was just getting close to that, and it was already starting to get to me, and I'm like, no, not right now. I'm having a good day. You're not ruining my day-to-day Star Trek.
Yeah.
Friggin' whatever they're called. What
are
they called again?
Too
Terra
long
Prime.
Into that abyss, right?
Terra
Prime. Yeah.
Turds.
Yeah.
Turds. They should have called themselves.
Turd Prime.
Yeah, Turd.
They were on the moon with the Tarda Moon overlords, honestly.
Yeah, really.
So all right. Oh yeah. So what's your number 1?
My number 1, you already said it. It was Benny Russell.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Oh yeah. I've watched that one probably more than these other episodes, and still, I will never develop the callus that gets me through that one with a dry eye. I don't think.
Well, I think
there's too much. There's no more. Like, there are moments when, like, the person's agency or their individuality is taken from them quickly. Like, even with Chief, it felt like forever for him, but it was like 30 seconds or something. Or like, and with being assimilated by the Borg,
Yeah.
It's just such a slow train wreck happening to Benny of injustices.
Yeah.
And that's just the ones we see, not to mention the systemic racism.
Well, I was going to say,
he's
the character we're following out of all the other Black characters that we see on screen in the episode who are in their own ways trying to ride that system that is grinding them the same way. I think the Jake character in that episode is one of the ones that stands out to me because he plays, in certain senses, what has been often used as a kind of stereotype of
Jimmy the Thief.
Yeah, exactly, right. This kind of hustler guy, but you can see the same thing, right? He's just trying to stay safe in the game somehow, right? And he just figures if the rules aren't going to play for them, then why should I play by those rules? And it's hard to blame the guy in that sense,
I don't need eggs. I need you to buy this watch.
And it does. I like the through line with Jake's desire to be cool as well. You know, that like both of those, versions of him share that.
But it's just such just all comes to a head for him there, where they kill Jimmy and he gets beat up by the police. He loses his job. All this happens within the time he gets out of the hospital, essentially.
Yeah.
And,
You're firing me?
I have no choice, Benny. It's his decision.
Well, you can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yikes! Yikes.
It's incredible.
Where's all the humanity from everyone else?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Well, I mean that leads me into my number one, which I was wondering whether we wouldn't share this as a number one, but
oh wow, your
which
number one
is,
didn't make my list.
I can't leave her here, not like this.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah,
no.
In the quarters on the Saratoga, where
wow, I forgot about that one.
Benjamin Sisko loses Jennifer and almost loses Jake because he nearly loses his head entirely, right? And it's all just coming crashing down, and they keep bringing him there, and he's like,
oh my
why
God.
do you bring me here? Why do you live here? Whew.
Oh, so you're talking about more his reliving of it.
Well, I think
with the prophets rather than when we first see it in the beginning of the episode. Because we see that scene.
It's an insane. We see it like 3 or 4 times over the course of that, don't we?
The episode.
The first moment is pretty shocking and it's brutal, and it makes
it's not as drawn out is the other one.
No, but the return where they bring him to it and he has to confront that he's lived there in that moment all those years.
It's not linear.
Yeah, it's not linear.
It's like, no, it's not. He just cries and cries.
Yeah.
He's like, you got me there, prophets. I've been trying to tell you I am linear, and
it's not linear.
No. That's a good one. Wow, I can't believe I didn't have that one on my list.
Yeah.
That is a good one. But that's Star Trek for you.
Yeah, it's got
moments to choose from.
It carries a lot of the human experience within it,
well, that's our locutor top 10, I guess you could call it.
Indeed.
Top 5 combined with our powers combined, we create a top 10.
We're like the Voltron of lists.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
So I guess now, I thought we could talk about the 3 greatest tragedies in all of Star Trek.
Okay.
Those being, of course, whenever Quark loses Prophet. Because there's nothing more tragic than losing prophets.
It is.
Because as you know, there's nothing more important than short-term quarterly gains.
Well, I mean, so says the Blessed Exchequer.
Indeed, he does.
Indeed, he does.
And of course, Geordie's love life.
Oh yes, I see. Yes. The unrequited dream.
And anytime, of course, anytime Stanford loses at water polo, certainly in the finals.
That does lead to a despondent Archer. That's true.
Or perhaps those tragedies are too tragic for us to even.
They may
really
be too weighty
today.
for us to tread on. It's true.
They may need their own episodes.
We should not reach for things too high for us,
So why don't we talk about some episodes of Star Trek that have catastrophes or downfalls or unhappy endings? And we might as well start with the original series.
Sure, man.
And I was thinking one episode that may meet this criteria. And I think we're going to come across a lot of different types of tragedy here in these episodes. And
because it doesn't have to follow that classic definition of everybody dies at the end like Hamlet.
No, and I think our
we can
top 5s may have had a lot of deaths, but not really. Lol dying I had in mine and stuff. So so
some of them are more.
It's not all about that
in that sense.
Yeah.
Or personal tragedy.
There's the City on the Edge of Forever. That's certainly a tragedy.
Yeah.
To let a person die for the sake of the future. But there's no happy ending there.
No, it's just they just have to lose. And that's one of the definitions of tragedy that I really like. a number of years ago, I did a lot of work on Greek tragedy. I used to do some lectures and stuff on it. One of the goings over that I really found helpful was that maybe the most sort of simple but deepest sense of Greek tragedy is that in tragedy, the configuration of the story is that the good encounters the good, and the good loses.
Mhm.
And these are substantial goods running into each other. And as you say, somebody's got to lose, something's got to give, right? And the solution will never be perfect.
What could
It
be
might
more
be beautiful or
tragic than
poetic,
that?
but it won't be good. Or even if it's good, it won't be unpainful. Yeah,
Edith Keeler must die.
indeed, Edith Keeler must die. Man.
And there's also the tragedy of one of your favorite characters.
Oh, Romulan Commander.
One Romulan Commander.
Romulan Commander. He's my favorite named character in Star Trek because I don't have to remember his name. He's not the Mongolian guy. He's Romulan Commander.
And Dave will remember ranks all day. So.
That's true. Give me a name, and I'm like, is he Bolian? I don't know, man. What are you talking about?
That Bolian guy.
Yeah, Balance of Terror is a beautiful other way of looking at tragedy, because you're right. This is the good of Federation imperative, the good of the Romulan Empire, and they have to make a sortie, right? The Romulans need to make some statement that they're still there somehow, in their own minds at least.
And personally, it just so doesn't need to happen, because Kirk and Romulan Commander are telling each other how they could be friends.
Yes. Yeah, we would have been friends under different circumstances, he says,
Yeah, they're just admiring each other's strategy and willing to defend their side. And it's just, but it has to end badly. It's like this good and this good. They're both just trying to do what they have to do, like you mentioned.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it may not fit every tragedy, but it fits that one really well.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting sort of, that one has that sort of note of, that old Roman saying, dulce et decorum est pro patria more, right? It's sweet and good to die for, or fitting to die for the fatherland. And the Romulans certainly embody that characteristic in a really deep way. They're very even interested in dying in that fashion,
yeah. And he's just like, that's not our way.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
No. Another tragic one on the original series is Let This Be Your Last Battlefield. That's the one with Beale and Lokai.
Oh yes.
And this might be the most tragic ending ever. Like, so Beale's been pursuing Lokai all this time, and Lokai keeps getting people to help him because he's being oppressed by Beale's people, the people with the white on the left side or right. I don't know. I get that confused.
Yeah.
It's like, look at me, we're so different. He's just like, they're like, I don't get it. He's like, you're both white on one side and black on the other side. He's like, but he's white on the right side. He's just like, are you guys blind? Like,
it's a wonderful allegory of, humanity's problems about melanin.
But
absolutely,
let that be your last battlefield. It doesn't end up being their last battlefield. They end up returning to their planet, and it's just recently been destroyed. They've destroyed themselves.
Yeah, and they're just going back to keep on at it,
And they're just going to keep fighting. And Kirk's just like, there, you see, you don't have to fight anymore. Your whole planet is dead. So, the grudge is settled. Like, they're like, no, I must pursue him. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, this is the tragedy of the planet destroying itself based on racial prejudice.
Well, and the equal conviction of a certain necessity in it, right? Which I don't know why I brought it to mind, but Tosk has a similar taste of the necessity of the thing to it, when he says, I am Tosk, he's fully accepting that he is the hunted creature.
That's enough out of you, Tosk.
Right? I have told him nothing. Oh man. But the other thing, am I wrong in thinking that it's the guy who plays Lokai is also the Riddler in another
That's
classic 60s series? Beale.
That's Beale, the guy who's pursuing Lokai.
Yeah.
The guy who just must pursue him, even though his planet's dead. So, like I can't believe that doesn't, like, that's another tragedy in that episode, that they're so, like, that shows you why that planet destroyed itself, if they are any indication. Like, if
Well,
that's
they're so
not something that
committed
can
to
make
their
you
own
just
hatreds, right?
take a minute. Like, they don't even take a minute to take in the fact that their planet's been destroyed. They just keep going right at it. Nothing.
No, it's just added to the list of grievances, right? Yeah, it really is a kind of a beautiful allegory of the madness of that kind of hatred, you know.
And of course, there's something I probably could have made either one of our lists earlier, I'm guessing, which is the death of our dear Mr. Spock in the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
I have been and forever will be your friend.
Yeah. What
live long and prosper.
What a beautiful moment.
But tragic that he had to, give his life.
Oh, absolutely.
But one of those beautiful tragedies,
as well, But yeah, it's a hard scene.
It's tragic because it was all over friggin' revenge.
Yeah,
the reasons for the whole situation even happening were like the tragedy.
And that Khan's sense of his own substantial good would be that, like, you didn't let me take your ship when I woke up from having been a murderous warlord who blasted himself off into space. Like, the absurdity of Khan's position in the whole thing is, like, to me, it's sort of amazing that Ricardo Montalban is able to just, like, push that whole thing. Like, you believe Khan the whole movie. Yeah. And in the original episode, you believe Khan as well. That's one of the brilliant things about him as a character. His whole thing is like composed almost 99% bot guano, right?
Oh.
But like
Khan doesn't bother with
holds together somehow.
Because he doesn't bother with the troublesome weighing his actions against Kirk's. Kirk wronged him, but he's not trying to. Doesn't have a scale.
There's an absolute sense of justification for his own actions in Khan's mind. I'm sure. Yeah. Well, I am Khan. Just as Tosk would say, I am Tosk, he would just say, I am Khan, and it would mean something for him.
Like he's directly or indirectly responsible for, like, deaths of millions, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, lots, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of worse than just being marooned on what they thought was a good planet.
Yeah, it's true. Turns out it wasn't a good planet, jerk. Oh, yeah. That doesn't make quite as good a tagline as "From Hell's Heart I Stab at Thee." It was a bad planet, Jerkface.
That's why the Enterprise needed a meteorologist.
Oh yeah, all that space weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they'd have been like, well, there could be a storm that's going to blow the atmosphere right out of this thing here in a year or so. Like, oh, that's not good.
A space storm, you say? Well, tarnation.
Blow the atmosphere away, you say.
Well, wouldn't that be a pickle?
It's a chili of a pickle. So, those were some of the more tragic moments of the original series that
indeed
stood out to me.
I mean, I think there's some really great episodes that sort of point in that direction in the animated series, but it's been so long since I've watched it that I'm not sure I could competently comment on any of them. Well, that one with the mushroom spore fungus people is pretty cool. Is that the one also that has the giant Spock in it?
Is that a tragic one? I can't remember.
Well, the tragedy of their life, that they're just all, their species is dying and stuff, and it's sort of their own fault, I think.
But I was thinking of the one, you might be able to tell me the name of the episode, but the one where Spock goes back in time and has to...
Oh, yeah.
His beloved pet T'Challa has to die for him to basically get things back the way they were anyway. So it was just a senseless tragedy that didn't need to happen. But just his interference caused the disruption. And to set it right, T'Challa had to die, and that's real sad. Can't remember.
Yeah, it's a very it's one of those sad time loop things, What episode is that, Spock? Yesteryear.
Oh, Yesteryear,
Yesteryear
of course,
is the name of the episode.
Of course. TNG, Dave, you're a fan.
Yeah, where Oh man,
You know,
tragedies
when
abound.
well, I'll tell you one that
Yeah.
stands out to me as a lover and defender of biodiversity in
Okay.
my daily life is Silicon Avatar. Here we have a creature that, as far as we know, may be the only one of its kind or one of the very few. Suffice it to say, a creature vulnerable to extinction.
Is this the Bags of Mostly Water episode?
No. This
Oh, what am
is
I
the
thinking of?
crystalline entity.
Oh, yes, of course. Okay, great. Yeah.
And our dear doctor who decides she's going to destroy the crystalline entity,
Mhm.
who Picard even says, the sperm whale of Earth will eat thousands of cuttlefish, but it's not evil, it's feeding. So we can't judge this crystalline entity in the same way as we would, the Romulans. But to me, that's just super sad. They're finally starting to communicate with it, which just could have opened up such an interesting second episode in my mind.
Oh, it would have been amazing.
To communicate with such a strange creature as that, and how they deal with having to have that hard conversation now. Like, they're going to be like, well, we don't want you to keep killing all the people on these planets, and it's going to be all like, well, it's the Galactus thing, it's the Star Trek's Galactus.
Yeah.
So
what do they need? They need the infinite nullifier. Is that what it's called?
The ultimate nullifier.
Ultimate nullifier. Dang.
Yeah.
That's right. Where's Norin Rad when you need them? Anyway, that's a great episode. I forgot all about it. One of the pieces of tragedy in that is the sheer number of warning signs you see in her over the episode.
But mostly in front of Data, and he doesn't get things like that.
Well, and that's one of the interesting pieces, right?
Data
the only person
Deanna
really emoting to that
would have been right on to her, and does sense what's going on just a few seconds too late. She's just like, oh no, something's very wrong.
Yeah, but clearly she's paying more attention, just like everybody else is, to the crystalline entity. She's probably trying to use her empathic powers to see if she can feel anything from it, I'm sure.
And it's hard to want to sympathize with that doctor in that episode, but that's another episode that I've just watched since becoming a parent.
Oh man.
And from her perspective, where she, like, her grief over her lost son and what he was thinking, and the moment where she says, were his last thoughts wondering why I didn't come to him?
Yeah.
Like,
ugh. Yeah, like those are thoughts you could torture yourself with into an exquisite madness.
Yeah. So
absolutely,
she can be sympathized with, but it's just the loss of the crystalline entity is just such a tragedy for me as well. It's the whole thing is
right.
sad.
Like I have empathy for her situation, but not for her actions in that sense.
No.
Right? Yeah, I can't really sympathize with her actions. No,
it's just another thing, like the Spock thing. It's just another person dying for revenge that didn't have anything to do with it. Well, but the crystalline entity did.
Speaking of senselessness, in that vein of tragedy, I think we could also look at Skin of Evil.
Oh yes.
Which it is just, we know that, part of that is that Denise Crosby wanted off. But, and I wonder whether there wasn't some sort of poetic symmetry in that, in the writers saying this doesn't really make sense, let's give her a death that sort of doesn't make direct sense in that sense, right? But her death is so like, in a really literal sense, absurd, that it really is hard to square, and it just Armis just does it.
In Armis, he's just like, they channeled all their negativity into me and then just left me here. Like, he's a hard character to sympathize for, but at the same time, it's like, that's pretty much the worst. Like,
that the abandonment would be pretty awful itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're the worst stuff ever. Now stew in that for eternity.
We're touching on a lot of revenge ones. It's a lot of vengeance creates a lot of these sad situations.
Even in the Greek tragedies themselves, the great Orestias cycle, where Orestes ends up killing, at least a couple of family members, and the cycle involving, who we're talking about, Oedipus, the Oedipus cycle with Antigone and the his sons who end up killing each other and all sorts of stuff. There's an enormous amount of revenge implicit, I think, in the logic of tragedy, if you could call it that.
It's a tragic thing, I guess.
There's a point past which people get carried by that need for requital that is just not going to happen in real experience. You
And it's
know?
not the healthiest way to go. It's definitely
No,
not your best way
absolutely.
out of that
Y-
darkness.
You know, there's an interesting theory of grief that way that speaks of humans as having two essential orientations in that respect, a loss orientation and a growth orientation. And the loss orientation will tend to be experienced as moments when the memory of the lost one or the lost object or situation comes up persistently, and you just like can't stop thinking about whoever it is, my grandmother that died or whoever it is, right?
Mhm.
um and then the other times when you'll find that you haven't thought about them for a while for a stretch, right? And things are okay, and then you're like, well, why am I thinking about them now? Well, you've swung back into that loss orientation. And in a sort of evolutionary psychology sense, the loss orientation is about grounding us in the present. That you're here. This is your situation. They're not here. You have to be in this moment, right? But the growth orientation is when we're properly in the moment, we can then begin to look out in
Mhm.
a sort of profitable way for us that way, in terms of
Mhm.
survival. Whereas the loss
In the
orientation
new
would stick us,
orientation.
right? Exactly, right. So
Yeah.
the alternation between them, I forget the researcher's name now who described this,
Let's call him
but
Dave.
sure, this unknown Dave, as we'll call him, that's sort of the way that grief oscillates and works, right? Because they were
Mhm.
very struck by the notion of the waves that occur in grief,
Mhm.
and why we would experience that way, not just some sort of intense, awful period, and then like, boop, we're good, let's keep moving. But it doesn't tend to do like that. Even many years later, people will get an access of grief because the person comes back to them in some moment or some reason, right? And that often the depth of grief is opposite to the depth of relationship or depth of love, right? So it's
Mhm.
not that bad a thing. It just hurts like crazy.
Well, and you
Uh,
mentioned those that can't let those thoughts go,
mm,
and perhaps the most poignant example of that is in The Wounded with our dear Captain Maxwell.
yeah, yeah.
His whole story, his personal downfall, is one of the most tragic, I think, that we see in Star Trek, really, because he doesn't really get the upswing. There's no
No,
recovery.
no.
There's acceptance by the end, but that's
And
basically as far as he gets
am I
that
wrong in
we
thinking
see.
that he loses his family on Setlik 3?
Yeah, it was during Setlik somehow. Yeah,
Yeah. So, because I remember
maybe
they're
they
fighting
boarded
over
the ship,
control of a town or
or
something, right?
who knows? Yeah.
Because I think his family was living on the planet, perhaps, maybe, or
Oh,
resident down
maybe,
there at the time. Uh,
maybe.
but yeah, it's what a horror show. And that the other side of that, to me, the interesting side is the way in which that episode meditates on how that kind of loss and tragedy and grief is played out among essentially military personnel.
Mm.
Because Maxwell and O'Brien really understand each other as soldiers,
Yeah.
comrades in arms. Uh, and there's another sensibility they seem to have adopted in that, which is that you just get right back in it, right? What does O'Brien say? He never took a day off.
Yeah.
And, if
And
somebody doesn't take a day off in the face of that, you're sitting there thinking, that's because you're looking at a walking shell of a person who's just going through the motions of their
yeah,
life
the
and
person is
hoping that's
submerged.
just going to force them back into shape. Yeah, man. Whew. What an episode.
Poor Stompy.
Yeah. The minstrel
Minstrel boy,
boy to the
the
war
war
has
is
gone.
gone.
Oh man, what a great
Yeah, one of the best episodes.
yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as another episode, I guess, where we see a breaking of a character is, of course, Chain of Command.
Sure.
He saw 5 lights.
And it's a really brilliant episode. It
But
figures so much of the way in which particularly 20th century totalitarian states became expert at dismantling people
Mhm.
juridically, legally, like or morally, in terms of their category as citizen or individual, right?
Mhm.
Just just pull all the pieces off, right?
Now, Picard suffers most of the pain in that episode. But I
Hmm.
think the true tragedy of that episode is Goma Dread. which is why, Picard says he pities him.
Yeah.
Still sees him as that small child. But, the society that we, get so many glimpses of.
Sure.
In the way, the shambles that the Cardassian society seems to perpetually be in.
And certainly has been in for I mean, even Garrick points it out in A Stitch in Time. I think he points out that they were in that mode for 80, 100 years.
Yeah.
Before they got to Bajor, I think. So they've been at this for quite some time in terms of this expansionist mode.
Yeah, they mentioned it. I think a few of them mentioned, or at least a couple of them, that it was expansionist out of necessity. Like they had nothing. They're like, we were all starving, as Madred was as a kid on the street.
Yeah.
The whole there a lot.
Maybe my dating is not as good there, right? Maybe it was more recently than that they turned to this. It doesn't take long for populations under conditions of sufficient stress, particularly profound economic and food distress, to give over all sorts of ideals in favor of strong, centralizing authoritarian power. Again, the 20th century is an excellent place to look to find sufficient evidence of that in at least 4, if not many more states around the world.
Is the inner light a tragedy?
Wow. Ooh. Well, in what sense would you posit it that way? I mean, are we talking about
the tragic
the probe itself?
Maybe that a society is reduced to just this one time capsule, I guess, that only one person can hear. Is it tragic that once Picard dies, that society truly will die?
Yeah, it's an odd strategy as a society for sure. But in a weird way, that probe
it's one of those beautiful ones.
It's really beautiful because it's not unlike Voyager. If somebody ran into Voyager with that gold record disc on it and that sort of stuff, they might well experience it as tragic, that this is a relic of a society that might already be extinct. But I guess to me the interesting difference is that planet sent the probe out knowing this was their sort of last will and testament. And well, yeah, I think it definitely means that it's tragic. And in a certain sense, Picard gets and loses an entire family and species in that episode, which is also kind of tragic as well. But the flute and the probe itself are also a kind of beautiful figuring of transcendence.
How did they do the flute? I always wondered how the probe.
They must have some really good box on the. Yeah. There must just be some time capsule on the probe and hermetically sealed with 40 layers of bubble wrap or something, man.
Space bubble wrap, yeah.
Yeah. But there's an interesting clinical term for what we would call sort of optimal psychological health at end of life, which is called gerotranscendence. It was coined by a researcher named Joan Erickson, who spoke of it as this sort of final gathering stage of life where all the material from earlier developmental stages, including their various dynamic questions, can come back up for reflection and readjustment and narration and rumination and reflection, right? And part of that is growth toward whatever the end is. And so you find, and when I've met people of advanced old age who are gerotranscendent, as I clinically might describe them, these are people that sometimes freak folks out because they'll look at you with great equanimity and say, yeah, sure, I want to die. Because they're not afraid of it. They know this is a natural moment. They're like, yeah, I'm not looking to do it this afternoon, but yeah, of course, I'm 102 years old. What do you think I want to do? Apart from, have some soup and be comfortable and, have pleasant experiences and have meaning and relationships in my life, I'm also at this point, in some ways, looking forward to laying this life down. And it's a really curious moment for anybody to encounter who's in any different developmental stage of their life. And it happens with
when
other
I encountered it, I was just like,
situations.
yeah, well, I believe you.
Yeah.
It just sounds perfectly 100% sincere and not like angry or scared or anything. Just like, yep,
Yeah.
tired of living. It's like,
And I'm like, yeah,
I believe you.
and often you'll
I
hear people
believe
say,
you.
I've had a good life.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I've had the whole run. But it's an interesting kind of equanimity to develop over time, and quite beautiful to experience. But yeah, I see that there's a real noble tragedy going on in that episode. So what do you think about well, here's a silly question. Do you think there's any tragedy in Deep Space Nine?
No.
Okay, moving on. Let's go on. Voyager then.
No, you know what? But I like both those questions, but before we move on, just quickly, one of the great
Sure.
Romulan tragedies of TNG was the Defector.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Because
Yeah.
that guy was just trying to do the right thing, and it just turned out it wasn't the right thing because it was all just bullshit that they planted to screw
He'd been
him over.
disinformed quite thoroughly, right?
It was some twisted, backroom deal stuff.
Yeah.
And he takes his own life as well because there's no going back for him.
No, and the tragedy of his situation is that he knows he's dealt with himself for them as a useful pawn in their plot.
Yeah,
that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah.
The only other one I'd mentioned from TNG that we haven't mentioned in our lists already is the Outcast with the one gendered species. And
right.
And Riker, kind of falls in love with one of them, and then they just wipe her brain,
Yeah.
And so nothing changes. Like usually a Star Trek TNG episode, they do something to make the situation better. Usually.
Well, and here comes the prime directive on them in that
one.
sense, right?
Yeah. That was one where the prime directive really kind of grinds your gears.
It bites them pretty hard there.
And
and it really that has an effect on Riker going forward, I think, honestly.
I'm going to avoid both your questions entirely, and why don't we move instead from DS9 and Voyager to Enterprise for a moment?
All right, we'll go backwards to go forwards.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned a couple of those episodes already that I think are just loaded with tragedy. Those last couple of episodes of the
Terra
series.
Prime and and even Terra Nova's kind of tragic, where the Novans were that colony that left Earth.
Oh
and
yeah.
they go to this planet that they find.
Gutted us.
Good for them, and then they get there and the sun, like an asteroid hits them, I believe is what it was.
Yeah.
So like that's
something, they get showered with radiation or something like that, and
rough luck, man.
and they developed this mythology about people from Earth who decided to try and kill them. And it's a really interesting sociological episode as well. I like it as almost the creation of it's sort of like the notion of, what do they call it, a cargo cult, those sorts of things. The extreme modification of a society because of some singular incident that they just that becomes a kind of foundation for the society.
Well, kind of like the Picard. But,
yes. Yeah, true.
But we see the tragedy of the one gendered species in TNG to the plight of the three gendered species in Enterprise with the cogenitor.
Oh yes.
And that's another tragic situation, is like the third gender is enslaved, and kind of in the sense that when we were talking about that episode, I believe in the last episode, where there was the Menk.
Oh yes.
They weren't allowed to live anywhere nice or anything, but they thought it was fine. They're like, no, we're treated well and stuff. It was kind of one of those situations where the
horizons hadn't really been allowed to broaden very much either, right? Yeah.
But, Trip never minds his business, so Trip I just remember that first episode, or I think it was, where Trip's just yelling at that lady who's like weaning her child onto oxygen.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you cut it out, lady? Sabel's just like, dude. She's just weaning her son. Like, he even gets this information and he's still a jerk about it. He's just like, well, yeah, it could have fooled me.
Oh yeah. They're like the humans in that first season of Enterprise are like, they're so reactive to everything, eh?
So bad at Starfleet.
Yeah.
They're so bad at Starfleet.
Not sure they're officer material at the
No.
Academy.
They wouldn't be serving on the Enterprise and Picard's there.
Not in the
that's for sure.
24th century. No, they'd have some more work to do.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think the saddest one and maybe the most tragic in Enterprise, though, is Similitude.
Now, remind me of that episode.
That's the one where Trip is injured, like gravely injured, but Phlox knows of this organism that, if injected with DNA, will live out the life cycle of the.
Oh, right. And they build the clone.
But it lives out its life cycle in like 12 days. But it becomes sentient in this time.
Right.
So they have to tell him what's happening. And then he finds out that there's a slight, very small chance that they could do this other procedure. And instead of bringing Trip back, he could just live out a regular lifespan as Trip.
Right.
Which, in a way, seems like the same thing. He has all his memories and everything. But Archer's just like, no, to me, that's not the same thing. He's just like, I need Trip. He's like, this, because this is during the Xindi thing. So Archer's a little extra militant. He's just like, no, we need to complete our mission, and the Enterprise needs Trip. Not you, Trip. I need Trip. Not like a fake Trip, even if it lives out his lifespan with his memories and everything. It's like, I need the genuine article, because I know I can trust it, I guess, is where he's coming from.
Well, and there's something crazy about the ability to copy the distinctiveness of an individual life form, right? Down to the level of, like, how they pick up a fork and articulate words. That I think is just, like, ontologically really unsettling. Like, what, you could just copy paste me? Then, like, what is this here? And the Thomas Riker episode of TNG asks a similar question in a different way, but what's the actual substance of a person in that regard becomes at issue. And it's something that I mean, we deal with that in the Tuvix episode on Voyager in a certain
I was about to say
the opposite way, which I thought was a really cool take on that.
Yeah, it was like the Enterprise's Tuvix episode in a way.
Yeah, but Janeway comes to almost the identical conclusion, right? She's like, nope, for her, I can see why she was like, no, I need Tuvok. I really need Tuvok back. He's just like part of how she operates as a captain,
Yeah. And it is a little different too, where they were like two people fused into one. Rather than, but Archer's saying is just like, you're not Trip. Trip isn't dead. He's lying in the infirmary right now. So if you're Trip, then who's that guy? He's like, no, that's Trip. He's like, yeah. But it's certain. Tuvix is certainly a tragedy. It's
absolutely,
Sim kind of comes around a bit to their position, whereas Tuvix never really does. He doesn't want to die, and nor should he. But neither should Tuvix and Neelix. It's just one of those no-win scenarios. It's a Kobayashi Maru.
And you're right. It is very much is a Kobayashi Maru. And the way they play that last scene where they're sort of walking him down to the transporter is, oh man, like he's walking his green mile there. That's an execution, and we all know it by the end of the episode.
Janeway's putting on her stern face, she's just like, don't anybody get emotional here. You look at my face and you reflect that. She's like, it's time to...
We're doing this, and nobody else gets a choice.
Oh, but they do, like two of them do. They stand in front of her and try to block it. It's like the doctor.
They try.
They try. But
It's,
that's a crazy one. See, like I could have done my own top 10 earlier, I think, of the ones that
the trouble is, the more of them you think up, the more fecund a topic sort of loss and grief and tragedy are in narrative terms specifically.
Because this is another one that this has maybe come up a few times before the end of this episode, but another one that I've watched since becoming a parent, and that's Real Life in Voyager. The one where the Doctor has his holographic family.
Oh, right.
And B'Elanna's like, it's not realistic. You need to make it more realistic. And of course, B'Elanna goes way too far, or makes it far too random, or with no safeties.
Sure.
But, his holographic daughter is injured and is going to die, and it's a it was a hard scene for me to watch, actually, because she's asking, he's telling her what's going to happen, and she's asking him, what's that going to be like? And it's just like, whew.
Yeah.
But it's tragic too, because it stops him from really pursuing that level of humanity, where he was sort of the Data character at first, but the one who wants to be human in basically every way he can be, where the Doctor's just like, actually, in some ways I kind of like being a hologram. I'm fine.
Yeah. And I can imagine that would cause you to sort of pull back from that to some degree.
You guys deal with your whole horrible family tragedy thing. I'll just be in sick bay.
I'll just keep
singing opera.
Up, thanks.
Yeah. So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
And another one is Drone.
Oh yes, the drone that gets fused up with the Doctor's holographic matrix, right?
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh.
Talk about an altruistic moment,
Yeah. Maybe the
of
noblest single Borg drone we ever see.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Who's really still fully a Borg drone, I guess is what I mean, Hugh had come out, and 7 of 9 comes out,
He's just not connected to the hive.
Yeah.
It's basically the only difference. And he's got future technology.
Yeah, he's what a
I like when he beams himself aboard the cube. He's just like, my technology is superior, go away. They're like, no. He's like, okay then. Just turns around, he's like, all right, well, here's what I'm gonna blows up the cube. With him in it, but he puts a shield around himself and survives for well, no, they were going to save him. And that's the crazy part, is he won't let them. They're like, they will pursue you because they know I have all this future tech.
Yeah.
So they will never stop pursuing you unless I'm gone.
And it's a piece of reasoning a Borg could do that a human won't do as easily. I don't, perhaps, So like this unit is irrelevant.
No,
ultimately.
And Seven repeats a line from that she's says earlier, just because he grabs her arm, and that's what, you're hurting me, but it's because he's dying, won't let them help, and she's just like, you're hurting me, and he goes, you will adapt.
Yeah. Ooh,
that's
some
a
good
great
Borg
episode.
Wisdom right there.
Yeah, what a great one-off character he was. I don't know if we mentioned that in our one-off character list from a while ago, but we need to
no kidding, he'd make that list for sure.
But another tragedy in Voyager that I quite enjoy, because I enjoy the actor and the character, is the tragic redemption yet death of one Lon Suitor.
Oh.
I think they really did a good job of sort of redeeming that character.
And it's interesting, you watch Lon Suitor come to accept who he is in the course of his redemption, knowing that who he is, I mean, in the words of another franchise, isn't very nice.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know the franchise you're referring to.
I was thinking about, I'm the best at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice.
Yes, I know. I may have an X-Men podcast. I'm going to plug later. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Flash it up on the screen that no one can see.
Oh, look at that. Ooh. Subliminally quick. Yeah. That's a great episode. Lon Suitor is... I mean, he's one of my favorite actors anyway. His turns on X-Files were absolutely terrifying. I just enjoy pretty much every scene I see him in, honestly. So to see him show up
Who are you talking about?
This is going to go badly. When we first meet Lon Suitor,
Brad Dourif. Was he in? Right? What did you say he was in?
Oh, the X-Files.
Oh, was he?
He's a terrifying serial killer. Absolutely terrifying serial killer who has this sort of possible psychic connection to Scully.
There may be another beloved franchise where he plays a terrifying serial killer in doll form.
Is it possible? I'm pretty sure he may have played terrifying serial killers in several franchises.
You could say dealing with those Kazon on Voyager was child's play. But no, it's just because it seems so legit and genuine, his change of character and his commitment to that, where he's so resistant. He's like, no, I realize I have to help you, Doctor, but I don't want to do this. And he's just like, yeah. He's like, I understand there's a rational, logical use for violence for other people. He's like, but for me, once it starts, it doesn't stop. He's like, but that's a tragic.
Yeah,
I love that. That's in Basics Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only other one I want to mention in Voyager is Course Oblivion.
Okay.
That's the one where everyone on Voyager and the ship itself is decaying.
Oh, right.
And they come to find out that they're from that demon class planet, and they're made of that silver goo, and so they're all just clones basically. But they all have Voyager's memories, so like it's that struggle between, do we embrace who we are or who we think we are?
Yeah, or sort of what we are. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had forgotten all about that episode.
And it ends horribly where like no one survives. Harry's left and a few others, and they're about to get back to the demon class planet because Janeway waited way too long. I mean, it's not Janeway, it's fake Janeway.
Yeah.
But so you can't really pin that one on Janeway. But she waits way too long to turn back to the demon class planet, and none of them make it.
Yeah.
Voyager shows up, like the other Voyager shows up to their distress call like a minute too late or seconds too late, and they just see like the goo.
Yeah.
That's
it. I like the sort of dislocation of your ability to identify the meaning of the action early on in the episode, right? You're like, this doesn't, like, there's something just sort of weird and off about what's going on, but the twist is one that's really hard to see coming. Oh no, they're actually goo from a demon planet.
And that, like, you get that pretty early in the episode, though, and then you're like, well, what do we do with that information? Like, how do I feel with this crew? Like,
like, what do I do with these
I'm usually
now?
not one to get wrapped up in alternate characters. Like, I'm not, as you know, I'm not a big fan of the mirror universe. And whenever there's just like a fake version of a character that I know is not going to be there in the next episode, I generally don't care.
But with these ones,
it wasn't the case here.
Well, I found it's because you're looking at the whole crew and the whole ship. Like, there's nothing to identify with other than these facsimiles, you know? So at least for the length of the episode, you're kind of stuck there together, which, I thought was interesting as well, right? Because you don't, like, you've sort of got no skin in the game, except that, of course, you sort of want Harry to succeed. Ultimately, right?
Yeah. So I have a completely original question on this podcast for you, Dave.
All right.
Is there any tragedy in Deep Space Nine?
No. Moving on.
Moving on. That question just never lands. I can't
believe you tried that.
You just can't stick the landing with this one. What's going on?
No, DS9 deals with tragedy on a lot of levels.
It certainly does.
There's just the tragedy of Bajor, just alone. The tragedy of Cardassia and its culture.
Yeah.
The Dominion War, all that. Like, there are a lot of things that could have gone differently.
A lot of large-scale tragedies.
Absolutely. I mean,
get touched on in many episodes, like again and again and again.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, one of the earlier ones is when the Skria show up and they just send them packing.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have to go that way.
It's another one of those ones where like good intentioned people are trying to make it work with maybe a little resistance, but
they're like paving a road to the hot place as fast as they can ultimately, right? It's
poor Skria.
Yeah, poor Skrians.
I know one of the ones. I mean, we've talked about a lot of the bigger examples of tragedy in Deep Space Nine already, with like Duet and Hard Time.
Sure.
And Far Beyond the Stars, of course.
Yeah.
But there are some other ones that aren't so obvious. I don't. Here's a question I have for you, Dave.
Okay.
Is The Visitor a tragedy? This is one of the ones I wasn't sure if I should include. I mean, it's sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it does sort of. It is sort of resolved at the end.
Yes. And in that sense, it has the structure of a tragedy.
But then it all just gets time wiped, essentially, and like.
Well, I was going to say ultimately, it's a sort of a tragic comedy, because that older Jake won't ever exist.
No.
and gives up the form of his existence that he knows then.
But his existence certainly was tragic, where he just commits his whole life to this thing.
And so he's certainly,
at least from the point
more
of view of
willing
Ben,
to, in his own mind, set things right and allow him and his father to have the life that he hoped they would have, or at least a chance at that, than he is interested in continuing on. But then again, there's a transcendence thing there, right? He's a celebrated, successful, widely admired writer. With this young person coming to a journalist coming to interview, or a young writer.
a big fan.
He's, in a certain sense, he's had it about as good as he could have in that timeline. And
Given how
maybe there's a
distracted
moment
he's
where he
been.
sees a kind of sublimity in saying, you know what, I can give this over now, so that we can sort of reconcile the past.
But it's an interesting play on history, though, where there's, authors that do these great works and then for some reason just disappear, and there's not really any explanation. So it's just like Star Trek offering a crazy explanation to one of those cases,
Oh yeah. It's like,
interesting.
is that really what's going on with J.D. Salinger or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I like.
You know
like
what?
That very
Probably.
That sneaky Salinger.
Salinger.
That's right.
Wipe my timeline, will you, Salinger?
His last name is actually Rasmussen.
But what's a really certainly a tragic and sad episode of Deep Space Nine is the sound of her voice.
Oh yeah.
Because it's
that's a beautiful, beautiful tragedy.
They hit you with the horrible just right at the end. They're like, and the end, you're like, oh
yeah. And again,
dude.
they really build up scenes in which we get to know and care about that character.
She's awesome. I was looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah.
Like, such a brilliant episode. They really don't you expect them to get there, because it's the whole point of the episode.
Yeah.
It's like, well, obviously they're going to do it, because like the whole thing has been them getting the.
And the thing is, right? We're prepared for that. When it's Worf, who's lost somewhere in the middle of the Badlands or whatever, they go and find him. They manage to find him.
Yeah.
And so they've pulled this off before, right? They find Odo and Quark crashed on that crazy planet.
Yeah.
Wherever, right? So
Quark and Odo on a mountain.
Yeah, like we have good reason for believing they can find this lady. But no.
Cusack.
It's not to be.
Captain Cusack.
Captain Cusack, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a real sad one too, because it's just all so pointless. They were time dilated the whole time. Like they were talking to the past the entire time. It's like, to me, it's beautiful and fascinating in the sense that you're looking at the stars, you're looking back in time and looking through a telescope, like they're saying with the new James Webb telescope. Are we possibly going to be able to see the Big Bang itself? Like, because we can see that we're going to be able to see real far back in time with this wonderful telescope going up here.
That's pretty exciting, eh?
It is very exciting.
Will we see back far enough to where everything is just inchoate, right?
Yeah. But it's like that. It's like talking with one of these time dilated stars we're looking at.
Because ultimately, when we're talking to them, we're just talking to the light that's right here.
Yeah, which is what they were doing. They were talking to the light, and
just the information
the light
that
had already dimmed
so far.
Unfortunately,
yeah,
it's a sad one.
Yeah, it really is. But again, very, very beautiful.
And one of the great Klingon tragedies that we see is the plight of Kurn in the end in Sons of Moog.
Oh, in Sons of Moog, yeah. A terminally dishonored Klingon.
Yeah, no longer gets to be him. Which, unfortunately, if they'd have just waited a little longer, they get the honor back. But not for the House of Moog, I guess, is the thing.
No, the House of Moog essentially disappears, right?
Yeah.
And he joins the House of Martok.
Yeah, I mean, but they could have brought Kurn in.
You'd think so, right?
But
I suppose they make the decision they make from where they are at the time.
Yeah, they do, and that's that just adds to the tragedy. The fact that maybe with some sort of patience on the behalf of Kurn, things could have gone a lot better.
But Esmond, that's not necessarily who Kurn is.
No,
no, he was not the more level-headed brother. That's for sure.
Gowron is a fool. Yes, but we
I
must
feel
follow
you,
him.
brother.
And, he looks at Worf and he's just like, I'll give you this one thing. In your own way, you are an honorable man, he says to Worf. He's just like, it never works out for me. It's a friggin' horrible for me, your friggin' honor. But, in your way, you're honorable.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that all Klingons would look at Worf and his understanding of honor and say, like, that's a cogent Klingon understanding of how honor works.
No, because his is more Federation.
Yeah, he's very much got
It's tempered. It's a tempered Klingon honor.
Exactly.
Most of the time. In that vein, too. Well, one of the great tragic episodes is Rocks and Shoals, because as you know, in that episode, Chief O'Brien tears his pants.
Indeed. It's
he tears his pants, and
very sad.
So they're really in trouble after that.
Yeah. I mean, once your pants are torn, what are you going to do? It's pretty bad. I mean, that is an interesting. It's an interesting episode, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a really kind of beautiful tragedy.
With the Jem'Hadar who are being set up by their Vorta to die.
Yeah.
And Sisko's trying to talk the Jem'Hadar out of it. He's just like, just go shoot your Vorta. He's the worst. And they're just like, that is not the way of things.
And it's not going to work. We're going to walk right into your fire.
Yeah.
And we see that again in the Vorta.
There's a lot of tragedy in the Jem'Hadar in this show.
Oh, they're just created for use,
Yeah.
It's brutal. I mean, we see
and
that
they're
again.
not as
What is that
subservient
show,
and mindless to it as
episode?
they try to get you to think early.
No, not at all. They can actually be kind of deep. Like in the episode where they decide to stop fighting Worf. So I can kill him, but I cannot defeat this guy. Yeah. All I can do is beat him to a pulp. They're an interesting species that way. But we see them be treated that way in the ship as well, right? Like the Vorta who's trying to kind of get her own situation straight, perfectly willing to sacrifice as many Jem'Hadar as she needs to, right?
The ship is just tragic in the sense that there was almost no reason why they couldn't have made a deal. Everything is going to this deal, and they just want to get their baby founder out of there. Sisko doesn't care about this baby founder. He just wants the ship, because that's a big find for the Federation during the war. It's be their first Jem'Hadar ship they can study. And so
it figures back into the series later, right?
So they come to this agreement, not agreement, but they come to this impasse. Him and Laris, I believe her name may be, or Eris or Laris.
I think Laris.
The Vorta. She's just like, okay, fine. Look, cut the bullshit. Just let us go in there. Obviously, there's something we want in that ship. Just let us go get it. You can keep the ship, and we'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, oh, you know what? I think Sisko could probably go along with this. You're thinking, he's just like, how about you tell me what it is, and I'll bring it out to you. And that's where that's
I feel like this is all falling apart.
And that's where the whole thing crumbles. And she's like, well, it seems like we're coming to an impasse. He's just like, I think we've already been at one. Like, Sisko is not bending on this at all, because they've already betrayed him once. When he went out to talk to her the first time, they sneak a Jem'Hadar in there.
Yeah.
That's why Muniz is dying, and
right.
He dies,
so I mean, he's not going to let them back on that ship.
No.
And the good's going to lose.
But they're both being genuine. Like, they can't really trust each other. They have no reason to trust each other, but they are both telling the truth. It's just so
you're right. Like, it feels like there could have been some accommodation reached. It just failed to obtain.
Yeah, like if he could trust them to go in and get the founder, they probably would have.
Yeah,
and she doesn't trust him to bring them a founder, even though he probably would have.
Yep,
he doesn't.
Oh, it's like it's still
a life to him that if they can save, he'd be like, okay, save your founder.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got that sort of Federation impulse in there, right?
Yeah. It's just a tragedy on that level. And, the only other thing I think we really need to talk about here is, well, you know what? Maybe there's two. There's another O'Brien Must Suffer one that maybe is worth mentioning. That's Whispers, where he's that time dilated version of himself.
Oh, and he keeps seeing himself die.
Yeah, that is just the worst. And the one of them is just like, tell Keiko I love, and then it dies. It's just like,
Oh,
God, this is horrible.
It also honestly could feature in a comedy episode, though, because some of those deaths are pretty hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it's both. And like, what?
There I go
the
again.
saddest Deep Space Nine episodes sometimes are some of the funniest, too. They walk that line really well.
Yeah,
so it doesn't hurt.
But I think for one of the episodes, we've talked about this episode many times already, but one of the episodes that to me embodies a kind of political tragedy as much as it does personal and ethical is in The Pale Moonlight, where we see Cisco walk himself into something and ask himself the whole episode, how much did I know what I was walking into there? Did I really know it? Did I let him walk me into it? What happened?
In the way I kind of see that is Cisco has that's Cisco's Locutus moment, and his moment that we were talking about with Archer, where he's just like, and Janeway's Tuvok's moment.
Yeah.
But they don't have a choice, really. He does.
Oh yeah, no, he wakes up and chooses violence in that moment.
Cisco assimilates himself.
Yeah.
He becomes, and he knows that. He's like, I can live with it.
And by the end of the episode,
he knows it's
that's
happened.
Like a really interesting turn. And he's in the end of the day, like in the words of the drone, I will adapt.
Yeah.
And it really is one of those things that distinguishes him from other captains.
He's the one most likely to make
choose
that
a
choice.
Positive, a kind of Kantian positive evil, because he's like, yep, that's going to make it work.
Does it
and
there?
There's not
He
really
does
another
it
way to get it done right now.
Gassing the Maquis colony and like,
Yeah.
He believes a little bit more in the ends justify the means than.
Well, I think in some ways he's so much more attached to the
frontline decision making as well. Like he's
thrust
into this
and like the
situation where he has to make these decisions
as a political reality. Whereas I think for somebody like Picard, it's much more about this set of ideals that express themselves in a certain kinds of political realities and diplomatic realities. And for Kirk, it's like he's running roughshod through space.
So is Archer.
Yep. Yeah.
And so is Janeway, but it's not her fault. She's got a place to be. But Cisco's not explorer. Like the rest of them all pretend at least to be explorers. There's none of that with Cisco. They do a couple little missions on shuttles into the Gamma Quadrant, but they don't really talk about that much. They're being explorers on Deep Space Nine.
He's a very working captain in the sense of running that area of space.
Well, you know what? Just one more tragedy in the new Picard series I think I want to mention here. I think we're winding it down here. But
what's that?
The death of Data, man, is tragic because he is such a force for good, could potentially live maybe forever, and gets like the shortest lifespan of most of the characters we see.
Yeah.
It's just sad. And he's unique in the universe. It's freaking horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a moment
it's not
when we
fair,
first
Dave.
meet,
It's not fair.
When we first meet
there are no blue
Soong,
skies here.
I had hoped for a moment that Data was just pretending to be Eric Soong.
Oh, me too.
That he like spun himself up a body, and the whole thing we were going to find was this sort of like slightly jaded Data, right? Who's then Picard, but the meeting we get is oh my God, like what a heart-wrenching, beautiful goodbye.
We are such stuff as dreams are made on.
Blue skies.
But in the end, let me die, right? I'm okay with going.
I'm not okay with it, Data.
Exactly.
Didn't think of me. But to summarize, perhaps the greatest tragedy in all of Star Trek is that, at least for you and I and our listeners, we don't get to see the Star Trek future. We're hoping to pave a path, make it happen. But the 24th century is a ways away.
Yeah. But it's still a few years yet to 2063, We haven't started the Third World War yet. And we
2
may
years
yet
till the
avoid
Bell
it.
riots.
Yep. So maybe we'll chart a brighter future toward warp travel. We've accidentally made a bubble already.
True.
Yeah. Well, on that note, all things end. End transmission.
Oh, wait.
Huh?
The skies were supposed to be blue.
That's what I thought.
And now they're purple. Oh, no. It must have been a red matter situation.
I'm going to just plot a course in for away from here.
You know what? What about... Maybe those Romulans
Maybe we
keep
can...
running into are aware of this as well. Romulans do love red matter.
I just reroute the EPS conduit. We might get above 3.4 for a few minutes. What are you saying over there?
Do you think the gig's still on? Do you think...
Well...
You have a gig on a blue planet.
We can just...
Is it still on a purple planet?
What could a harmless electromagnetic signal do?
What do you think it's like?
We'll just
What do
send
you
a
think's
little
going on
message.
down there? We should go check.
Subspace comms must be up.
You know what? Let's do this old school. Let's go check first, and then look at our sensors.
This is going to go great. All right, I'm putting in a course for descent.
We're on a mission from Nog.
Take us to your gala.